the impacts of a change like AI, for example, on the organizational culture, or how are they tied together, or what do boards need to anticipate ahead of time so that they're more proactive as opposed to reactive? Any thoughts on how you bring all of those things together so that a board can help to provide some of that foresight that's needed?
That's a great question, and it reminds me of when I went through my board education program.
Mm.
I think it was towards the very end of that program, and one of the professors we had walking us through that program made the comment. He says, "Never forget," and I think it's Peter Drucker, the culture eats strategy for breakfast comment, and it stuck to me. A lot of the culture of an organization is really dependent from the tone at the top, and that tone comes from the board, comes from the CEO, and comes from the leadership that permeates the organization. And I think about it's a really interesting comment about culture because that is really the most challenging aspect to get. You could have two completely different organizations, one that is very risk adverse and very conservative. So let's just take AI.
Yeah.
You have one that's very conservative, very risk adverse, doesn't really want to lean in, more of a let's see where the industry is going, and then maybe we'll start testing it. And you could have another organization which is very progressive, very innovative, wants to lean in on every technology to see whether or not much more of a risk taking, where both organizations completely acceptable. But I think from a board perspective, you have to figure out what's right for that particular organization. And it does make sense. Having been part of a startup, I felt like we were always trying to push the envelope, trying to figure out what we could do. How do we make ourselves relevant? If you're a part of a more conservative organization, probably taking a slightly different approach. And I think that culture permeates the organization, also permeates in terms of how the organization is going to adopt new technology.
Absolutely.